Imagine if today was the day your idea changed someone's life. Imagine if you could help someone pay for college, help your community build a new playground, or help a child make it to that dream competition. With GoFundMe, it's all possible. GoFundMe is the world's #1 fundraising platform trusted by over 190 million people. Every week, ordinary people meet their goals and do extraordinary things. Your ideas matter. GoFundMe isn't just for emergencies. Want to raise money for your kid's soccer team or raise funds for a small business, a creative project, or event? GoFundMe helps you turn ideas into reality. And help adds up. Fundraisers you start for someone else raise up to 5 times more. So think right now, who could use your help? Change rarely comes from waiting. It comes from someone deciding, today I'll start. Don't wait for someone else to bring change. Today, start your fundraiser in just minutes at GoFundMe.com. That's GoFundMe.com to start your fundraiser. GoFundMe.com. This is a commercial message brought to you by GoFundMe.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Welcome to Lit Reading. I'm Don McDonald. In my ongoing search for the best story to read each week, those of O. Henry keep floating to the top. And just when I think I found the right one, I read another that intrigues me. I also want to try and find tales that might have escaped popular notice. This O. Henry story is one of many you may have missed, but it's a lighthearted tale about the difficulties and simple pleasures of marriage. And it also seemed perfect for a realistic Valentine's Day tale. Oh, and one more thing. Because of the way this is written, I've been forced to perform the mountain folk accent of the characters rather than merely read the words. Here is The Whirligig of Life by O. Henry. Justice of the Peace Benajah Widdop sat in the door of his office smoking his elder stem pipe. Halfway to the zenith, the Cumberland Range rose blue-gray in the afternoon haze. A speckled hen swaggered down the main street of the settlement, cackling foolishly. Up the road came a sound of creaking axles, and then a slow cloud of dust, and then a bull cart bearing Ramsay Bilbro and his wife. The cart stopped at the justice's door, and the two climbed down. Ramsay was a narrow 6 feet of sallow brown skin and yellow hair. The imperturbability of the mountains hung upon him like a suit of armor. The woman was calicoed, angled, snuff-brushed, and weary with unknown desires. Through it all gleamed a faint protest of cheated youth, unconscious of its loss. The justice of the peace slipped his feet into his shoes for the sake of dignity and moved to let them enter. "We all wants a divorce," said the woman in a voice like the wind blowing through the pine boughs. She looked at Ramsay to see if he noted any flaw or ambiguity or evasion or partiality or self-partisanship in her statement of their business. "A divorce," repeated Ramsay with a solemn nod. "We all can't get along together nohow. It's lonesome enough for to live in the mountains when a man and a woman cures for one another, but when she's a spitting like a wildcat and a sullening like a hoot owl in the cabin, a man ain't got no call to live with her. When he's a no-count varmint without any especial warmth, the traipsing along of scallywags and moonshiners, and a layin' on his back pizzin' with corn whiskey, and a pesterin' folks with a pack of hungry trifling hounds to feed," said the woman. "When she keeps a-throwing skillet lids and slings boiling water on the best coon dog in the Cumberlands, and sets herself again cooking a man's victuals, and keeps him awake o' nights accusing him of a sight o' doin's," came Ramsay's antiphony. "When he's always a-fighting the revenues and gets a hard name in the mountains for a mean man, who's going to be able for to sleep o' nights?" The justice of the peace stirred deliberately to his duties. He placed his one chair and a wooden stool for his petitioners. He opened his book of statutes on the table and scanned the index. Presently he wiped his spectacles and shifted his inkstand. "The laws and statutes air silent on the subject of divorce as far as the jurisdiction of this court air concerned. But according to equity and the Constitution and the Golden Rule, it's a bad bargain that can't run both ways. If a justice of the peace can marry a couple, it's plain that he is bound to be able to divorce them. This here office will issue a decree of divorce and abide by the decision of the Supreme Court to hold it good," said he. Ramsay Bilbro drew a small tobacco bag from his trousers pocket. Out of this, he shook upon the table a $5 note. "Sold a bearskin and 2 foxes for that. It's all the money we got," he remarked. "The regular price of divorce in this court, $5," said the justice. He stuffed the bill into the pocket of his homespun vest with a deceptive air of indifference. With much bodily toil and mental travail, he wrote the decree upon a half of foolscap and then copied it upon the other. Ramsay Bilbro and his wife listened to the reading of the document that was to give them freedom. "Know all men by these presents that Ramsay Bilbro and his wife Aurelia Bilbro this day personally appeared before me and promises that hereinafter they will neither love, honor, nor obey each other, neither for better nor worse, being of sound mind and body, and accept summons for divorce according to the peace and dignity of the state. Herein fail not, so help you God. Benadja Widdop, Justice of the Peace in and for the County of Piedmont, State of Tennessee." The justice was about to hand one of the documents to Ramsay. The voice of Aurelia delayed the transfer. Both men looked at her. Their dull masculinity was confronted by something sudden and unexpected in the woman. "Judge, don't you give him that air paper yet. 'Tain't all settled nohow. I gotta have my rights first. I gotta have my alimony. 'Tain't no kind of a way to do for a man to divorce his wife thought her having her a cent for to do with. I'm a-layin' off to be a-going up to my brother Ed's up on Hogback Mountain. I'm bound for to have a pair of shoes and some snuff and things besides. If Rance can afford a divorce, let him pay me alimony." Ramsay Bilbro was stricken to dumb perplexity. There had been no previous hint of alimony. Women were always bringing up startling and unlooked-for issues. Justice Benadja Widdop felt that the point demanded judicial decision. The authorities were also silent on the subject of alimony, but the woman's feet were bare. The trail to Hogback Mountain was steep and flinty. "Ariel Bilbro, how much did you allow would be good and sufficient alimony in the case before the court?" he said in official tones. "I allowed, for the shoes and all, to say $5. That ain't much for alimony, but I reckon that'll get me up to Brother Ed's," she answered. "The amount air not unreasonable, Ramsay Bilbro. You air ordered by the court to pay the plaintiff the sum of $5 before the decree of divorce air issued," said the justice. "I ain't got no more money. I done paid you all I had," breathed Ramsay heavily. "Otherwise, you air in contempt of court," said the justice, looking severely over his spectacles. "I reckon if you give me till tomorrow, I might be able to rake it or scrape it up somewheres. I never look for to be a-paying no alimony," pleaded the husband. "The case air adjourned till tomorrow, when you all will present yourselves and obey the order of the court, following of which the decree of divorce will be delivered," said Benadja Widdop. He sat down in the door and began loosening a shoestring. "We might as well go to Uncle Zia's and spend the night," decided Ramsay. He climbed into the cart on one side, and Aurelia climbed in on the other. Obeying the flap of his rope, the little red bull slowly came around on a tack, and the cart crawled away in the nimbus arising from its wheels. Justice of the Peace Benadja Widdop smoked his elder stem pipe. Late in the afternoon he got his weekly paper and read it until the twilight dimmed its lines. Then he lit the tallow candle on his table and read until the moon rose, marking the time for supper. He lived in the double log cabin on the slope near the girdled poplar. Going home to supper, he crossed a little branch darkened by a laurel thicket. The dark figure of a man stepped from the laurels and pointed a rifle at his breast. His hat was pulled down low, and something covered most of his face. "I want your money, without any talk. I'm getting nervous, and my fingers are wabbling on this here trigger," said the figure. "I only got $5, said the justice, producing it from his vest pocket. "Roll it up and stick it in the end of this here gun barrel," came the order. The bill was crisp and new. Even fingers that were clumsy and trembling found little difficulty in making a spill of it and inserting it this with less ease, into the muzzle of the rifle. "Now I reckon you can be going along," said the robber. The justice lingered not on his way. The next day came the little red bull, drawing the cart to the office door. Justice Benajah Widup had his shoes on, for he was expecting the visit. In his presence, Ramsay Bilbro handed to his wife a $5 bill. The official's eyes sharply viewed it. It seemed to curl up as though it had been rolled and inserted into the end of a gun barrel. But the justice refrained from comment. It is true that other bills might be inclined to curl. He handed each one a decree of divorce. Each stood awkwardly silent, slowly folding the guarantee of freedom. The woman cast a shy glance full of constraint at Ramsay. "I reckon you'll be going back up to the cabin along with the bull cart? There's bread in the tin box setting on the shelf. I put the bacon in the boiling pot to keep the hounds from getting it. Don't forget to wind the clock tonight," she said. "You air a-going to your brother Ed's?" asked Ramsay with fine unconcern. "I was 'lowing to get along up there afore night. I ain't saying as they'll pester theyselves any way to make me welcome, but I hain't nowhere else fur to go. It's a right smart ways, and I reckon I better be going. I'll be a-saying goodbye, Rance. That is, if you care for me to say so." "I don't know as anybody's a hound dog fur to not want to say goodbye, less you air so anxious to get away that you don't want me to say it," said Ramsay in a martyr's voice. Aurelia was silent. She folded the $5 bill and her decree carefully and placed them in the bosom of her dress. Benajah Widup watched the money disappear with mournful eyes behind his spectacles. And then with his next words he achieved rank, as his thoughts ran, with either the great crowd of the world's sympathizers or the little crowd of its great financiers. "Be kind of lonesome in that old cabin tonight, Rance," he said. Ramsay Bilbro stared out at the Cumberland's clear blue now in the sunlight. He did not look at Aurelia. "I allow it might be lonesome, but when folks get mad and wants a divorce, can't make folks stay," he said. "There's others wanted a divorce. Besides, nobody don't want nobody to stay," said Aurelia, speaking to the wooden stool. "Nobody never said they didn't." "Nobody never said they did. I reckon I better start on out of Brother Ed's." "Nobody can't wind that old clock. Want me to go back with you in the cart and wind it for you, Rance?" The mountaineer's countenance was proof against emotion, but he reached out a big hand and enclosed Aurelia's thin brown one. Her soul peeped out once through her impassive face, hallowing it. "Them hounds shan't pester you no more. I reckon I've been mean and low down. You wind that clock, Aurelia," said Ramsay. "My heart hits in that cabin, Rance, along with you. I ain't a-going to get mad no more. Let's be starting, Rance, so we can get home by sundown," she whispered. Justice of the Peace Benajah Widup interposed as they started for the door, forgetting his presence. "In the name of the state of Tennessee, I forbid you all to be a defying its laws and statutes. This court is more than willing and full of joy to see the clouds of discord and misunderstanding rolling away from two loving hearts, but it air the duty of the court to preserve the morals and integrity of the state. The court reminds you that you air no longer man and wife, but air divorced by regular decree, and as such air not entitled to the benefits and pertinences of the matrimonial estate," he said. Aurelia caught Ramsay's arm. Did those words mean that she must lose him now that they'd just learned the lesson of life? "But the court air prepared for to remove the disability set up by the decree of divorce. The court air on hand to perform the solemn ceremony of marriage, thus fixing things up and enabling the parties in the case to resume the honorable and elevating state of matrimony which they desires. The fee for performing said ceremony will be in this case, to wit, $5, went on the justice. Aurelia caught the glimpse of promise in his words. Swiftly her hand went to her bosom. Freely as an alighted dove, the bill fluttered to the justice's table. Her sallow cheeks colored as she stood hand in hand with Ramsay and listened to the reuniting words. Ramsay helped her into the cart and climbed in beside her. The little red bull turned once more, and they set out, hands clasped, for the mountains. Justice of the Peace Benajah Widup sat in his door and took off his shoes. Once again he fingered the bill tucked down in his vest pocket. Once again, he smoked his elder stem pipe. Once again, the speckled hen swaggered down the main street of the settlement, cackling foolishly. The short life of William Sidney Porter, better known by his pen name O. Henry, was in fact a whirligig. He worked in his uncle's drugstore, as a ranch hand in Texas, at a land office, and then as a bank teller in Austin, where he found the easy access to cash a bit too tempting, leading to his indictment for embezzlement and subsequent flight from justice to Honduras. His wife's fatal illness brought him back to Texas, where he was convicted and served 3 years in a federal penitentiary. Soon after his release, O. Henry moved to New York, where most of his stories, including this one, were penned. Thank you so much for listening to Lit Reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and please tell a friend or two. Go to one of your favorite podcast services, particularly iTunes or Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to the podcast, and leave a review. Already, several of you have left glowing reviews, and I really appreciate it, like this one from someone who calls himself Josan the Cleric, or Josan the Cleric. Quote, "Absolutely love this podcast. I listen to a lot of short stories, and Don has a fantastic reading voice as well as a good eye for choosing his stories." Unquote. It's reviews like that that make this worthwhile. Thanks again. I'm Don McDonald.
For 25 years, Brightview Senior Living Associates have been committed to creating a vibrant culture and delivering exceptional services, making Brightview a great place to work and live. If you're looking for a rewarding opportunity to serve your local community and grow, we want you to join our team. Brightview Senior Living is growing and actively seeking vibrant associates to join our community teams, including directors, healthcare, activities, hospitality, and dining. Apply today at careers.brightviewseniorliving.com. Equal employment opportunities. Text BV Jobs to 97211 to apply.
And Doug.
Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Right across America, people listen to the Tony and Ryan podcast every day. That's us, by the way. I'm Ryan. This is my best friend, Tony.
Howdy.
Don't just take our word for it.
G'day, MJ from Pittsburgh. How did you discover our podcast?
I first discovered Tony and Ryan as a recommendation. They absolutely exceeded my expectations to the point where I was like, I must be a part of this in crowd.
Oh my God, I've never been part of the in crowd before.
Well, you're part of this one.
I'm Tony in crowd. Wait.
She'll work on that. You come listen. Tony and Ryan.